Hey guys, FatBuddyCat here. And I think I got another great idea. Alright, so I just went ahead and skipped a few steps. Nah, almost got you, huh? Anyways, this might not be seamless. The only thing that I might not have is the bolts to hold the torque converter on. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. Alright guys, in this stage this bike for the torque converter, we're going to be using the Go Power Sports MM80 Predator 212 adapter plate. Okay, we're going to have to get a fully adjustable billet plate on top of that plate. That's right, double plate pimping. I'm going to get everything off of this, and I think we just got to get the motor right off the bike. A little bit of work. We're going to have to make a few changes too. I'll show you when we get there. So I'm just looking at this, and basically once the clutch and the chain is off, all we got to do is disconnect the throttle and pull the motor out. You can leave the header right on there. We're going to use a different one, but that's how we get it out. Just 4 bolts down here. And that's looking like 4 10mm bolts that we're going to be contending with. Over on this side, I find it's easiest to just disconnect the OMB governorless linkage all together and then take my rod off. Alright, and I'll just put everything to the side. Same with my nuts and bolts over there. Never know what we might need for this. You got a general idea, but we might reuse some of this stuff. And then right here, you know what it is. But then again, only those guys on Team Stock Carb would know that. Okay, and just like that, our motor is free. No umbilical cords on that side. No chain on this side. Ready to go. Let me get that up on the bench. Okay, now that we have our motor up on the bench, we're going to need a billet adjustable plate. Oh. Ooh, who do we get today? Oh, looks like ombwarehouse.com this time around, guys. Cool. I think I have hardware. Yep. Alright, so you get this thing put on the motor. Basically, that's going to be the front of the motor. This thing's going to go on the plate and then all the way over so that the motor is flush with this side, okay? So, front, and then you want to be flush with this side. And you can go ahead and tighten that on, alright, to your motor. That way you're done with it. These are the Predator 212 holes, and these 4 holes are going to be where your studs will be hanging down. I'll show you. Alright, you're going to have long bolts and short bolts. The long bolts are going to go up through the plate, okay, and those are going to hold your motor on. The short ones are just going to go through this plate and the next plate, so they can be slightly shorter. Alright, and those are going to stick through the bottom. See it there? Okay, so those are going to have to be stuck through before you put the other ones up through your motor, because your motor is going to be sitting on top of the plate. Does that make sense? It will in a second. Okay, so the short ones go through. Alright, they come out the bottom. And then the motor is going to go on top of those, thus blocking those in there. Alright, and it's going to be flush so that it can move still when it's loose. Alright, then you're going to take the long ones and they're going to go up through the plate from the bottom side in the same fashion that you see here, but from the bottom, and into the motor. you know, through the holes that hold the motor on. If you don't have a block and you don't feel like searching for something, this works every time. I spread the studs out, right? Those are what they essentially are now. And I put it on top of my knee like this. And then I'll take my motor and I'll place it on top of the plate. And then I'll start feeding my bolts up through. And I'll put a washer and a nut on as I go. Real simple. You just don't want these things to be bent up like this or stuck askew, you know, like that under the motor. That's why it's important to know what you're doing, or at least pay attention, because then you won't make that mistake like somebody else did. That guy. Okay, my motor is mounted to the plate. It's pulled all the way to the left. The studs are sticking through into my thigh. I'm going to pull them out of my thigh and walk the engine over there. I'm going to put it on that plate. There's 4 holes drilled in that plate just for this. Alright guys, I got this motor cradled in my arms, but there's those 4 holes. Okay, not the 4 slots, but the 4 holes. That's where you're going to be putting your studs through. Okay, here's our motor mounted to our plate, tightened down all the way left, and there is our 4 studs coming through the bottom. Okay, you put a washer and a nut on them just so you don't lose it. Next thing, we'll be working on that torque converter. Okay, I just put those 4 nuts on I was talking about loosely, just to hold things in place. We're going to be finished up on this side of the motor. We're not changing anything here. So I'll go ahead and put my rod and my linkage back on, and then reattach my gas line too. Get right out of here. Alright, now we just need a torque converter and a header. Okay, let's push some of this nonsense out of the way. There's those. Okay. Here is what I got from the hardware store. Okay. 1 black zinc. Usually I use these for like the torque converters. I think this one might be a little bit long, but they're running out. Somebody keeps buying them all and using them. So this will work. And I got 4 of these and 1 extra. And these are to hold the torque converter on. Okay. Yeah. 5/16 24. And here is our torque converter. Alright, so I'm gonna have to pull that GX160 out and get that unit off of there. Does a GX160 rip with a torque converter? Heck yeah, it ripped with a torque converter. Look at all that belt dust. Still straight too. Runs like a champ. Alright, I'm just making sure that that's a 10 tooth 420 in there. I had this on the Doodlebug. Yeah, I had it on the red Doodlebug last with the microbiology wheels and a 54 tooth sprocket. Huh. Lucky day. Because I had it on something else with a 35 chain before. The way I see it, either way you look at it, this is going to be awesome. 4 new bolts, 4 new lock washers. Alright, now that I basically have this thing on here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my driver on. I'm going to do my alignment. Right now I have the same, what do we call these ones, guys? Bushing and spacer. Okay, so I'll check that back plate alignment get everything set up, get it on there. You know, this belt's still good. It's got a little smooth wear on it, but it's got plenty of pinch left in her. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, you know, oh, this is a MiniBike Misfits bike. You can't put a torque converter on it. Yeah, well, it's also my bike, and I say I can. All right? And this is nothing against clutches. The reason I'm doing this, guys, is so that I can enjoy the bike, so that I can ride it more, and we can have more fun with it. There's some other things I want to do and tweak on this, and we're just not getting the results I want to get. Now, out on a big track, if this thing was on a straightaway or just a bigger oval of sorts where you could stay in it, it's a ripper, all right? But I'll tell you what, you ride that Banshee over there, out there in the field, you won't want to ride this one after, because you'll push this one so hard, right, that you will crash. What happens is, alright, the worst part is when you're on the front stretch, okay, and you're flying along, and you come to a point where you can either continue to accelerate, or you can let off on the juice release and start pushing the anti-fun button, okay? And when you do that, one of two things happens. If you stay on it, the front wheel comes up, you'll miss the turn completely, probably wheelie. If not, you'll just end up in the stones because there's no way you're going to stop. Not a good situation. The other situation, also not good, would be we yank it, right? And it starts to slide because it's just on these little knobbies. And I'm 235 pounds top heavy. And this, not necessarily this, okay? But this picks into the grass. And when these things set in like a pick, it just sends a guy like me that away. Alright? And that's not fun. The reason you gotta hit the brakes is you gotta get all the way off when you have the clutch, okay? You can't, there's nothing you can do. About halfway through the corner, you can start getting on the clutch, and about, I don't know, 50 feet out of the turn, it'll really start to engage and go. Meantime, Hot Boy 5 over here is, see you later. He's already cutting the next corner and ripping the back straight. So it is what it is. So if we want to keep up, we want to have some fun, we're going to do it. But it's all reversible. And somebody not videotaping this, editing it, any of that stuff, just doing this, take you about an hour. That's it. Right on. So this thing still moves back to front. We know that. It's not tightened down here, which means it can move on the plate. Okay? So what I'm going to do is loosen my tensioner completely. I got my chain right here. Okay? I'm actually going to see what I have for other chains, because I might have one that's just long enough to make this work. I'm going to check on that. Get that tensioner back. Alright, so the long chain is shorter than both of those chains, and those are my other two 420 chains that I have kicking around. So I'll just take the shortest of the two, lay it out next to this one, okay? And this one was one link short, so I'll just add one more usable link, okay? So I'll have to end up with one of those on the end. Alright guys, I got this chain on and I checked it as well, okay? But this would be the link right here, Okay, that would be the same length. All right, then we need to get that on the end, so we add this link, and that is the pin we're going to be removing right there. Oh, we're just so close. I didn't even put the driver on yet, like I said I was going to. I got too excited when I saw this chain and thought it was going to fit and didn't think we were going to have to cut one, but we're on there anyway. Okay, now is when you pay attention to your alignment, alright? This plate, hey, give me that. Oh, man, he always gets my gloves when I'm not looking. But this plate, anyways, it's designed to go on the way I put it on, okay? So it's going to get you right in the neighborhood. And I mean like real close, alright? So now what we're going to do is pull the engine forward, get everything in place, and all we got to do is tighten the 4 nuts underneath. Okay, you don't have to worry about any bolts or bolt heads. It's that square bolt locked inside that plate. All you got is the nut. Oh, he's quick. Okay, so here's another one of those hitches I was talking about. The chain's not going to pull tight enough because this bottom plate has to be all the way forward, okay? And you can probably see it better over here, okay? The plate down here, okay, has to be forward a little bit more. Now, that bolt right there, either the nut or the bolt is stripped out, I remember. So, I'm going to see what I can't do to get that thing off of there and get another one on, loosen the other ones, scoot it forward, and then tighten it down. And then we'll go from there. Sweet. Alright guys, got this thing leaned over. Not that it's gonna ever be leaned over more than that in its lifetime, or hasn't already. So anyways, a little bit of safety gear, 4.5-inch angle grinder. I was able to come up under from this angle here and cut the nut. Looks like we got the bolt too. So I'll just grab a hammer and give that a little bit of a whack attack and get it out of there. Loosen the other one, scoot it forward. New nut, bolt, and washer right there. There we go, that's looking better. So now that I got this plate up as far as it's going to go in the slots, okay, there's just about, you know, an eighth, maybe a heavy eighth from there, the front of the plate to the, you know, the cross member for the foot pegs. So, that's there. Now we can align the chain, which we're looking fantastic, and tighten the 4 nuts. Just the 4 nuts though, I promise this time. Alright, now we just line up our back plate for our driver. That is very, very close, if not perfect. Alright, I'll put the rest of this unit on, pick a bolt, a washer, and a lock washer. See if we can't get it on there. Oh yeah, don't forget your belt. Sort of an important part. You gotta get that on there before the driver too. Alright guys, and here's why I use these big black zinc Allen's head looking son of a guns. Put the piece there on, line that up. Okay. See all those threads? Da 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 da. Still going. Still threading. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give that a little bit of torque. We ought to know if that comes loose, huh? if we have the cover on and this starts to back out, all those threads still in there, all that length, we might get lucky. I think I see the header we need peeking out over here. Yep. Look at that. Okay, that's just a 1 inch to 1 5/16 staged header, just like on the other MM80. I also have an RLV for this one, but we're going to leave it like that. And that's just a red fire wrap, silicone sleeve, whatever you want to call it. Got that one on Amazon. They fall apart after a while, but hey, they keep you from getting burned. They smoke a little bit too when you first get them. Probably not the best thing to inhale. Alright, we'll throw the old gasket out. Got a brand new exhaust gasket right here. Alright. 2 nuts. 1 header. And last but not least, we're going to get that Hot Boy torque converter cover. Alright. They came off this bike when it was in previous state. Maybe the GX160. Yeah, the GX160 was on here with 35 chain. I remember that. Well, that wasn't too bad, guys. We got it on there. Everything looks nice and clean. Everything's nice and tight. Our chain tension's where it should be. We could loosen it up, but it'll probably stretch. The motor can go back, it can go forward, go sideways if we ever need it to for some reason, but all kinds of things we can do with this. Alright guys, next thing, gonna be getting it outside, testing it out. Not gonna happen tonight, it's raining out, but tomorrow guys, it's on like napalm, suckers. I think I'm gonna finish my night off cleaning up my mess, but that's what happens when it's a work in progress. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.